Good morning. I just was working, just looking on the internet at one of the groups that I participate in online, and a therapist wrote in about she's trying to help a young boy with autism who's 10. And I think that this is a case that bears a little peek because I'm not quite sure. It frames very well the way that the holistic world looks at people with autism and says, "What can I fix?" So I work with a young boy of 10 years old. He's able to communicate for himself. He's independent with life skills, which, okay, he shouldn't have an autism diagnosis if he's independent with life skills. And she also says something different later, so I'm already a little bit cued into this. He has differences with executive functioning. His school have supported him with learning about the topic and applying it to different situations. The generalization of this theory to see life is a challenge. In particular, I see it with task initiation in the classroom. He always needs a verbal cue to start, and then he goes very well at homework. He has visuals to support, free access to sensory tools. He presents as regulated, but I think he can be easily distracted by his own thoughts. He has a wonderful love of movies and TV and often thinks of these throughout the day. School want what to know, the next step, and for me, the therapist. I'm a little lost for the next step as I feel he's doing well, and we just need to keep supporting him with the supports already there. I'm open to hearing your thoughts and ideas. Thank you. Okay, first of all, I'm glad that this person reached out to a user group to ask for some opinions. I agree with her that he is doing really well, that the school has theoretically found that cueing is what he needs. Executive functioning and distraction are things that are going to happen with someone on the spectrum. Those parts of our brain that control those things are literally different. They're wired differently. The electricity moves differently through them. Talk therapy is not going to, quote unquote, fix that, or we'd have a whole lot less autistics and people with ADD as well. So to me, this is an example of asking the wrong questions. So does he have friends? What do these dysregulations keep him from doing? Does he have anxiety? How does he sleep? Does he have sensory issues that are contributing to the distraction in school? If he's doing fine at home and doesn't need the cueing and does fine with homework, then something in the school environment is what is making it more difficult. So also processing speed. If he was worked up for autism in his original testing, there should be an assessment of processing speed. It could be that when the directions are given to the class, it's too quickly. Because he's taking in too much information, having to look at the people in front of him in class, having to see whatever's behind the teacher, having to filter out the noises that are coming from other students, feeling uncomfortable in his chair, whatever it is. But if a teacher comes over or a person comes over one-on-one near him to cue him, he can focus in on that person. And that's all he needs. Honestly, cueing is something that most people on the autism spectrum will need some form of in certain situations for the rest of their lives. I myself need cueing. Again, you put me in an airport, in a high distractibility, high noise, high anxiety environment. I can't navigate the TSA line without someone cueing me. Take your shoes off now. Put your suitcase on the conveyor belt. There's not a problem with that. That's just something my brain doesn't do in a chaotic environment. As a child, I was taught that there was a lot wrong with that, which contributed to shame, feeling like I wasn't trying hard enough, worthlessness. In general, I think this kid needs a sensory inventory would be the first place I would start, because it's something that we can say that we're doing. Which is what the school wants. They want to know what this therapist is doing. So let's find out about this kid's sensory issues. Are they interfering with his ability to be present in class? If so, like STEM toys aren't going to help with that. maybe some noise canceling headphones, maybe seating where he's seated in the classroom. Also, queuing for assignments is fine. Like if that works, I get that that's an aesthetic load on the teacher and that she has a lot of other students. What would it be like to give him written directions for each thing to where he could read it at his own pace and try that? Or to have a buddy who, I mean, it's hard when you start allocating tasks to other children because it others the kid that's on the spectrum, and excludes them. But also, like, this needing queuing, if he's emotionally okay, this is a success story. This kid's doing great. But yeah, I appreciate this therapist reaching out and wanting some help. And yeah, normalization of the fact that you can be a functional, happy adult and need queuing. I don't know if anybody's telling this kid that, or how he feels about needing to be cued. Does this bring him a lot of shame? Does that fear of the shame get in the way of him hearing the directions because he's having proactive anxiety before the situation? It's a weird way to use that term, but you know what I mean. So this is just an example. Again, it's not a particularly bad example, but it's one, from an autistic perspective, is one way of looking at this particular case study. If these case studies are interesting to you, please let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do more of them. I participate on quite a few different, like, Reddit, subreddits, Facebook groups, and I come across these all the time. I try to comment where I can, if I have an opinion. But yeah, feel free to share your stories in the comments, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I hope to see you soon.